food shortages that we are seeing at the end of summer and into fall, and more to come. Let's discuss. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Danno. Today, we are drinking the Universal Blend, Universal Studios Mystery Blend. Nobody here knows what it is other than it's a dark roast. I will say it is pretty good. If I had to pick what this tasted like, I would say maybe like Seattle's Best. Not one of my favorites, but it's okay. I mean, it's free, so that is the big one. Okay, if you need to hit pause to get your coffee or your favorite beverage together, do so now, as this will be a lengthy discussion. Guys, it's getting real. Didn't think it would be this quick, but we are getting flooded with emails and comments of multiple different food shortages all across the country here, even some around the world. We've gotten viewers from Australia that a lot of different like produce products. Produce seems to be an issue. If I had to pick one that is very important for everyone, I would have to say that is that is probably the biggest one of the biggest concern right now. Now, we've been getting some emails. This entire video is basically you guys, all of our subscribers and viewers who have been putting in the comments and emails of different shortages at some of your main grocery stores all around the country and all around the world. So thank you for that. That is how we're going to keep in touch and keep everything together here to make sure that we're able to not only buy up the sales as we see them, but to just get the products. And number one, again, some of the big ones that we've been hearing out in Australia are like watermelon. No shortages of watermelon here, but one big thing we've been hearing also in Australia is the prices of produce are just going through the roof. Some people have said they've even doubled. We have a lot of viewers from Australia, so I wanted to mention that first, that we have noted that there's a lot of produce issues out in Australia right now. A really big one, and I'm going to compare both of these. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about some of what we've been seeing here in Florida, so stay tuned for that. In California and Florida both are having trouble with oranges. Now, we've had droughts, we've had hurricanes, we've had bad weather, just a whirlwind of events, guys. I mean, it's just been crazy. But I was surprised to hear, and this is in part why I decided to do this video today, because California and Florida both produce quite a hefty amount of oranges from around the country and around the world. And I was surprised to hear that. I will say me and Jessica visited a Walmart in Orlando yesterday, and there are some things we're going to talk about. I did notice that the oranges that they did have looked like they had a good amount of them, but they looked terrible. They looked bad. They're probably just going to sit there. Even like the bags of mandarins that they had looked terrible too. But we'll go into that a little later. I want to get into what you guys have been sending us, a lot of the different like Arizona. Okay, so Arizona, we have a lot of viewers, people who have moved from California to Arizona, and just people who've lived in Arizona their whole lives. Toilet paper seems to be an issue. We're getting multiple comments of toilet paper being in shortage, and I know this isn't a food, but it is important, and I don't know if this has anything to do with what's been going on, right? We've had an uptick in cases over the last few weeks, so that could be part of that. We have noticed this also in Cincinnati, as you've noticed from videos that we've done at Meijer, Kroger, Walmart. There's been a hefty shortage of toilet paper. Now, we never encourage panic buying, never, but when you find a sale on it, it might be a good idea, even if there's not a sale, to just pick up one or two to make sure you have it. Now, probably the next biggest shortage that seems to be affecting everybody, and we said this was going to happen. The big one here is in Kentucky. Kentucky seems to be, we have a lot of viewers in Kentucky, and pasta and bread seem to be the two most commented on the channel here. Got a couple emails, one from a longtime viewer that was talking about pasta, and it wasn't just store brand pasta, it was Barilla. Barilla was the one you talked about, and then someone mentioned Kroger pasta, which we've been seeing less and less Kroger pasta. As we go along here, we're going to be seeing less and less of some of these products that we're having shortages of either ingredients. We know that we've got shortages of wheat, we've got shortages of grains, and many other different things. And as we go along here, we're also, I know for the month of July, we had like a big increase in jobs, but job losses and job shortages are a real issue, not just in the country here, but around the world. Now, I've been talking, one advantage of being at Universal Orlando here is I've been chatting with a lot of people from around the world. There's actually a couple people here who knew me from the channel here. Nice to chat with you guys if you're watching today, but seems to be some of the same issues. Some of their foods over in London, in England, in the UK, are getting outrageously expensive, double what they were last year. Sound familiar? Lots of things, guys. They are having a major issue with rice. Now, as to where we haven't seen yet the big uptick in buying of rice. Now, we did get a comment from someone in California, someone who's been on the channel here for a while, that they've been having trouble finding rice. Now, we knew this was going to happen. We said it, even though we predominantly don't get most of our rice from India, the export ban has, like we say, it always has a trickle effect. Something that happens to one person, it will be passed down because people can't get this. They're going to be seeking it out at other places. We've seen videos of runs on rice. There was one in California not that long ago. There was one in Dallas not that long ago. There was one in Michigan not that long ago. Videos, you look this up on YouTube. It's just crazy. Some of them, it's crazy. Like we always say, never encourage panic buying, but I know over 1 billion people around the world, their daily meals are with rice. It may not be yours, may not be mine, but a lot of people, rice is in their main diet. So it's like we have to think about these things, because as these things get less and less, people will resort to buying other things to try and make up for that, right? Even if it's not rice, they may be buying more pasta, and we've seen pasta shortages before, and that's where it gets a little confusing because, well, even 2 years ago when we were seeing pasta fly off the shelves, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, what was the reason there? Well, they were saying pretty much everything today with employee shortages, job losses, all these different things are really compiling into a whirlwind of I don't want to get too doom and gloom here, but guys, it's getting real. It's getting real. A lot of these things that we're seeing now are going to really affect us here in the next couple months. That's why we always talk about having a little bit of a stockpile of a lot of the things that you love to eat and buy. Now here's a big one. I don't want you guys to freak out or anything, but canned goods. Canned goods. We have another viewer, same viewer in Kentucky, was talking about having trouble finding different canned vegetables. One of those was Walmart. We're going to find a lot of places that sell the cheapest of the best quality. We actually did a video on this at Walmart where we were talking about some of the great value vegetables. They're cheap. They're 64 cents a can. And the more we see prices go up on some of these other name brand products, we're going to see more and more people buy. Maybe us too. Del Monte, if it goes up any higher than what it is, or if it goes up again at Sam's Club, you better believe we've already been stocking up on some great value canned goods because of this. And as to where I still like Del Monte better, when you're really looking at the price and trying to save money, that's the way to go. Plus, we don't know what these are going to cost in the future. We've already seen where Kroger has gone up to 89 and 99 cents a can on a lot of their canned vegetables. Now, they've been sitting steady there for a while, but we're expecting those to go up again. And again, guys, thank you so much for sending us all this information. You guys are the motivation that brings me to deliver this information. This is stuff, I've been putting this together for the last couple days here because, one, I want to make sure that we're giving all the best information that we can to try and help save you, or to try and not only help save you as much money as possible, but to make sure that we know where these exact places are so that we know we may have to seek elsewhere to try and find them. Most of the places, a lot of people didn't give the stores they were at. Some of them were Walmart. One big issue out in California also, and Arizona, two different viewers that we have mentioned potatoes. Now this is where we kind of dial in a little bit on everything going on, because when we get viewers from different states all around the country, that's when it becomes an issue, because it's like if trucks are having trouble getting to California, or if they're having, not enough in their load to deliver or stuff like that, we can understand that. If the crops just aren't coming in, that's a whole different story. And when two states that are so close together with Arizona, you wouldn't think too much with Arizona and California. But we've also gotten comments from Kentucky. Again, one of our other longtime viewers who was talking about the pasta also mentioned potatoes. We haven't seen any shortages of potatoes in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I did notice them at Walmart last night. Me and Jessica were going to Walmart. We had to get a couple things. And you know me. I mean, I had to look around and see, what was going on. I noticed a shortage of canned goods. Maybe not stocked. It didn't seem like there was, for as big as that Walmart is, it seemed like the employees were very low. So I always take that into consideration. One thing I did notice is that they didn't have a lot of the shoppers in the store. The guys that walk around and do the shop, you do the online orders and then you go pick up. We have a much smaller Walmart in Cincinnati, and we probably had triple the amount of people that were doing that there. So I don't know. Maybe it's because it's in Orlando. Maybe it's all tourists. Maybe they don't have cars. Maybe they're not doing the online pickup or stuff like that. Not really too sure. But I do take factor all these little things into my calculations of everything. So another one that had mentioned the potatoes was one of our viewers from Nebraska. And we've already seen where potato prices have gotten sky high. Now, what have we been saying this whole time? Because prices have not come down. We've seen virtually no sales on potatoes other than those little fingerling potatoes at Kroger. Every now and then they'll sell those for $1.99, and that's a good deal, and they're really good. We've been buying those because a 10-pound bag of potatoes has just gotten ridiculous. By the way, same price at Walmart in Orlando, $13.88 for the 8-pound baking potatoes. Those jumbo potatoes that we saw, the 8 pounds, $13.88. $7.28, same price as Cincinnati. I was kind of shocked to see that they were the same price. A lot of the things at Walmart were the same price down here as they are up in Cincinnati, so I was surprised to see that. $7.28 for the 5-pound bags of the red and yellow potatoes, still way too expensive. They're not selling them either. Now we've seen, we've seen prices on potatoes go up in some places they normally don't. Somebody mentioned Aldi the other day. Well, at least at our Aldi, they were $5.99 for a 10-pound bag not that long ago. And then they went down a little bit, but they've since gone back up in price. They are $5.99 now, but really, that's the cheapest place to go. The only thing I would say with Aldi is, and anywhere for that matter, not just Aldi, anytime you're buying a 10-pound bag of potatoes, make sure you check every one of them. Kind of look, see where you can see through. That's the one thing I didn't like about Walmart, is it's hard to see through some of those different bags. Now, the ones at Aldi, there's a couple spots where you kind of move them around a little bit and look to see, make sure there's no rotten tomatoes in there. Potatoes, no rotten potatoes. Another thing I saw at Walmart last night that looked absolutely terrible were their tomatoes. Those tomatoes looked like they had been sitting for a long time. They didn't even look like a new shipment. They looked like just terrible. I think I mentioned the canned goods. The Great Value canned goods were very low. But again, we're in Orlando and there's a lot of people. So I don't know if people are just stocking up or what's going on. So up in Michigan, we have a couple viewers who are mentioning bread also and pasta. Again, all these things that we're talking about today have had multiple subscribers, you guys, who have been feeding us this information. So we have Michigan, and this is where it becomes kind of tricky because we have Michigan, Connecticut. We have a longtime viewer from Connecticut who's been mentioning pasta. So pasta, we can pretty much mark as it's something that's going to be hit or miss for the next few months. Okay, this is coming from you guys. This is not coming from any news network or anything like that. This is straight on, boots on the ground. All you guys sitting here telling us all this stuff. This is all your guys' reports. And this is the best way to discuss things because we know that this is true. This is true. Now, we've been getting a lot more viewers from New York, not just New York City, but upstate New York, Buffalo. We have a longtime viewer from Buffalo. They have been talking about pasta as well. Pasta has been a big subject. Also, rice in New York. Now, obviously, with New York and California, we have different cultures that have huge, areas where they live. We have Chinatown and in New York. We have a longtime viewer from Chinatown in New York, and we have some new viewers up in San Francisco in their Chinatown, and all of you guys have been mentioning rice. Not surprised there. As a matter of fact, when all this happened, I was thinking these are going to be like the towns that really struggle. A lot of Latin American towns, different Chinese towns, Chinatown, stuff like that. We knew that this was going to be a major issue. This is areas where we're seeing people panic buying on rice, and that's unfortunate. So right now, quickly, I didn't want to make this a huge video here, but this is information we got to discuss, guys. Toilet paper has been mentioned in several different states. I think I said Kentucky, Arizona was probably number one. We had a lot of viewers saying toilet paper is kind of being hit. Cincinnati, some of our followers from Cincinnati, I've seen firsthand that toilet paper it's kind of been short for a while. I mean, even before this uptick in cases that's been going on, because that's what I think about is, the last time when everybody was making a run on toilet paper. Somebody up north in northern Ohio, up near Columbus, one of our longtime viewers was talking about canned goods as well. Kroger canned goods, vegetables, Kroger canned vegetables. Never see an issue with it at ours, but again, we are down here in Orlando. Once we come back here in a couple weeks, me and Jessica are staying down here a couple weeks. We are going to visit some stores kind of in between. See, I'd like to get to Publix at some point. We'll probably check out a Walmart down here. That Walmart the other day we went to was so busy, and we were kind of just in and out. We're trying to enjoy ourselves a little bit while we're down here too. I don't want to do videos every second of the day, but all this information just coming out here. Let us know down in the comments anything that you are seeing in the stores that is a significant shortage. We had somebody mention olives as well. Kentucky, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this, guys, but once we start getting comments from other places, I feel like, because we have almost 35,000 people on this channel. So I feel like people who never commented before are just now starting to comment on some of these things. We're getting more and more comments from central Kentucky, eastern Kentucky, where people are starting to comment on a lot of things that aren't coming in. Some of these places, people are saying these products haven't been coming in at all for over a year. So, we really have to pay attention to some of these things, because I remember a couple years ago, this stuff, it seemed like it spread out from the Midwest, and it has just started ravaging the United States with some of this stuff. I mean, it's like we're not getting products that we are getting are bad quality, bad shape. And something we may need to do, here in the future, like we did a couple years ago, we have to kind of get creative with everything. I know everybody can't go from store to store like I do, but I mean, it's really changed the way me and Jessica shop. I get my apples at Aldi, I get my vegetables and stuff at Sam's Club. There's different stores that we go to where we know we're going to always traditionally save, but the next time we go there, who knows? Guys, I mean, it is really, I don't want to say it's really getting bad, but I do feel it's going to start getting a little worse, and we need to pay attention to these things, work together, as we always do on this channel. We have a great YouTube family on here that looks after one another, and I don't know, guys. The pasta, major issue. Toilet paper seems to be another major issue. Oranges are just very strange coming out of California and Florida. But again, we've had bad weather conditions, drought, hurricanes, bad weather, no rain at some points in California. You know, it's like I can understand. The funny, and it's not funny, okay? I just always say that. The funny thing is that in Cincinnati, it's like we're getting California oranges, which are probably from a while back, right? Because they look great. The ones that we get in Cincinnati are usually, you can find ones from Florida, but we get more from California than Florida. I don't know. It's kind of weird. We do get Florida oranges, but it's like certain times of the year. Never really had an issue with any of them. But seeing those oranges down here in Orlando, right? These are Florida oranges, and they looked, I wouldn't buy them. I mean, they look terrible. Saw some shortages at this Walmart, though, I would like to discuss here for just a couple minutes. They have, like, no coffee. None. And you guys know that that's one of the first things I look at is coffee. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a little pause here. Got my Captain America mug and the Hulk. That's good. So, yeah. Now, it wasn't that they were short of coffee. It's that they don't sell much. There's not much of a selection at this Walmart. Another thing we noticed was tea. Tea was... Luckily, Jessica was able to find her favorite tea. Also, she drinks the... not all the time, but it's kind of a vacation tea for her, I guess. The Bigelow Salted Caramel. You guys hear why I get upset when Bigelow tea goes up in price. That's pretty much why, because she drinks it. $3.34 still at that Walmart for a 18-pack of tea. Excuse me. Whoa, sorry if that was loud. I didn't see, they had one thing of the Great Value Colombian coffee. I saw two things of the Great Value, just the regular house blend roast. But very little like Dunkin' or Starbucks. It was like it was crammed into like one little area and they didn't have anything. And I noticed aisles that were just, lack of a better word here, stupid packed of different things. Now again, we're kind of in a touristy area. That Walmart that we went to is really kind of off the beaten path, though. It's not like right here next to all the tourist areas. But they'd have like an aisle, two aisles, like 4 aisles, like on each side of chips. I've never seen so many chips in my life, but not that it was like they'd have like a whole row of Doritos. You know, it's the most Doritos I've ever seen in my life. Candy was 2.5 aisles. They had 2 aisles of candy and then another aisle of candy. It's like, what, is this why you don't have like all the other coffee? Like, because you're putting all this stuff in here? They did have a shortage of eggs. Eggs looked very low. Milk was near out. I don't know what, and I didn't see any milk, like behind the case. Like, you know how usually they have it like when you look in the milk and then they've got tons of it. I didn't see any. So I don't know. Now, I know Florida just had a hurricane here a couple weeks ago, so people were probably buying up a lot of this stuff. There was plenty of water. I gotta say that they had cases and cases and cases of water. Plenty of like cheese and dairy and stuff like that. Didn't see any shortages of that. As far as the produce that I was looking at this Walmart, it looked about as good as the one up at our Walmart. It looked terrible. I mean, they were very low on bananas, too, and they didn't have, like, the baskets of bananas underneath like most Walmarts have. Probably, I know this sounds crazy, but there was probably, like, only 2 full things of bananas, like 8 on one, 8 on the other, and then, like, a couple just spread out, but they were really hit pretty hard on bananas and stuff, which we see. Let me know if you've noticed a lot of shortages on bananas where you live. Now, we see this from time to time where we live, and I don't really take too much of it because we never really get many comments on them. But it seems like everywhere I go, I always see a shortage of bananas. I mean, it's just not full like it used to be. So, and maybe more and more people are eating bananas. I don't really know. But, guys, we got to pay attention. We got to pay attention. It's getting real. I have a feeling this is going to be a rough fall. As I've said in other videos, I believe it's going to be a long winter. We have to pay attention. We got to stay prepped. We got to make sure that we're buying up the sales as we see them. And so especially a couple of the things that we've went over here today. If you use these in your everyday life, I would make sure that you're buying them up and making sure that you have enough, because some of these things are going to get tough. Meat is the same price at this Walmart as it was up north. Still stupid expensive, outrageously expensive. Same prices, $13.99 for the cheapest steak. I don't know where it came from, and then they have like their prime steak. I think the prime was a little more. I think it's $17.99 a pound. Up north, it was $18.99 a pound at this Walmart. But guys, it's getting expensive. It's getting expensive. Now we're seeing shortages. It's one thing to pay the high price. It's another thing not to be able to get it at all, right? And we'll continue to look at other things. Doesn't have to just be food. Make sure you let us know in the comments anything that you see. If you feel uncomfortable leaving things in the comments, which some people do, leave it in an email for me and I will check that out as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching this tonight. Stay prepped. Stay ready. It's crazy times. It really is, guys. I really got to watch my words on here. It does. It gets crazy. And we'll just have to see what happens and go along. And as long as we stay in tune with each other on here, we can be a little bit ahead of the game so that make sure you leave an abbreviation of your state. Don't ever leave us. We have people that give us their addresses. Don't do that on social media. Don't leave your address. Just leave your city and state. You could just leave your state, but if you do your city, that helps some people who may be viewers. Maybe your neighbor or something might help them a little more. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video tonight. I hope it helps. Have a great week.